Alright, so we're going to go ahead and walk you through how to set up and take down our 2016 Viking 16B hybrid camper Squatch 3. So you got the setup first. You're going to want to go ahead and once you're stabilized and everything is level, make sure the camper is level, go ahead and unlock the bunk to fold it down on both ends. You'll just lift up on the lip there, fold that down. Then you're going to want to go ahead and open the door with key, head in there, and then just get that pull into the top of the bunk. Just should, I believe, fit in a hole, and then it just goes up right there after you click the button. And then you can go ahead and put the bed that is always on the folded down dinette when traveling up there. And then we're going to go ahead and just make sure all of the flaps on the outside of the bunk are put down, because if they are not put down, you could get some rain in there. So again, just making sure all of those are put down, especially at those corners, to make sure there's no water that gets in the bunk if it rains. And then there's a step ladder included just in case you need it for getting the bunk down. Now we're going to go ahead and get the dinette up. So you could just pick the pillows up and then flip the table over, and then you're just going to go ahead and put the legs out by using the stabilizers, just propping those out, and then that's all set. Next, you can go ahead and put the awning out. So this is not a wired awning. The utility for putting it in and out is on the outside of the camper, like was just showed. So if you click it up, it'll roll in, down, we'll roll it out, and then that little etched out piece is where you need to stop. And then if you want to go ahead and put lights up on the awning, you can. I do include these nice little globe lights, and I'm just going to show you how that works. It's etched out because this is a new awning, but some of the lines didn't line up, so this is our workaround for now. We will probably correct this at end of season. So that's what it looks like after all said and done. And then you're going to go ahead and just open the storage cubby to get extension cord. It comes with a 25-foot extension cord just to go ahead and wrap around the awning pole, and then to hook the lights up to the power source right there if you'd like to put that up. And then in here there's a little remote for the lights if you want to change them. And then I also have a charger, which is very important. So the awning actually has a charger built in the pole, but if it's always charged, but if for some reason you need to charge it, it's in that little basket right there. So just hook it up and plug it in. It charges in like 5 minutes. You should not need to use this. It usually gets about 20 extensions and then retractions per each charge, so you should be all set for your trip. And then just disconnecting it if you needed to use it, just putting it back on the Velcro right there, and then you're good to go, and wrapping that little charger cord up, and then just going ahead and putting that back in the basket and putting that back where it's supposed to go. Alright, next, hooking up the water. So there's a city water connection. You're going to go ahead and just tighten that on the hose right there so you don't have any leaks. And the black part will twist right onto the hose. And just working through that right now. And then there is a potable water connection. It's not a connection, I'm sorry. It's just for the potable water. If you fill that up, if you don't have a hose connection, do that in the drains right below it. Now these are just the indicator lights. And it's for the water. It's cold water right there. And then there's hot water on the left. Just make sure you turn on the hot water tank on that indicator light. And there's a toilet. And we also have the shower, and everything is functional there. Just making sure you have the water in the camper if you want to use it. For hot water or for cooking, make sure you turn on that propane. And then there is air conditioning. If you need to use heat, make sure you use the heater function. The air conditioning does not have heat associated with it, so the furnace is right there. And then that's it. And then for takedown, we're going to go ahead and start with the outside. And usually I work our way in, but just taking down the lights. If you put up those little black clips, please, please, please make sure you take them off of the awning pole before you roll the awning in, because you will rip the canvas, or could potentially rip the canvas if you don't do that. So please make sure all of the clips just come off with the lights. That's what my husband is doing right now, just taking everything down. And I'm going to go ahead and just wrap that up. You can just put that in the bag. And then just going to go ahead and grab the bag and put that back under the bunk. I just grabbed the extension cord to use with it. Put everything in the same spot. Then just go ahead and slide that on under there. And then retract the awning back in. Again, you want to go up with it. And it just self-locks in place. It's a very nice, expensive awning, but it is very, very nice. So should get good use out of it. And then all of the rentals we have come with rugs, just to prevent more dirt from tracking in the camper. It's just a nice addition. But it comes with 4 stakes in that red bag. We'll put those in there. And then just gonna fold up the rug. Just into 4s. When it's all folded and said and done, you're going to go ahead and just put it right under the dinette. That is the spot that we put it. And don't roll it up. You're going to want to go ahead and fold it in 4s, like I just said, to be able to nicely just tuck it under the dinette. Yep, and then just fold it in half one more time. Then, before I put the rug away, I'm just going to put the hammer and the stakes back in that red bag. Pretty much all outside stuff comes in there. And then going to dump. So you're going to need to go to the dump station if you are picking up or delivering and you don't pay for the dump fee. You're going to need to go to the dump station, grab the tube, and connect that to the water disposal, or the tank disposal, I should say. So this one does come with an attachment, and it's included in that red box, but you're just going to go ahead and clip on the attachment to the tube, and then you're going to want to go ahead and drain your black water first. That portable unit is not included. You could rent it, but for just purposes of demonstration, yep, we're going to go ahead and pull the black tank first. And then if your camper sits like at level or a little bit lower than your flush, you're going to want to, just work it through, making sure that you get everything out of the tank. And then, you're going to go ahead and dump the gray water next. And then we just want to make sure rinse out the tube too before you put it back under, and then go ahead and just cap that on off. And then if you do have potable water before you leave the campsite, you're going to want to go ahead and undo the drain right here, and you can drive while it's draining, or you could just stay there. It doesn't really matter, but you do not want to keep water in the pot or the freshwater tank while you're driving, because it adds extra weight and it could be dangerous. Okay, so working on our way on the inside, if you have any windows open, just go ahead and close those. Make sure those are secure before you head out. All those are good to go. And then we're going to want to go ahead and fold the table back down. And just kind of clipping in those legs. Set it on the couch if you need to. Fold those down. And then there's a little Velcro there. It doesn't work too great, so if the legs are falling a little bit, that's fine. You might just have to push them up when you get the rug in here. And then you're just going to put the pillows right on top of the table. And then you're going to grab these 2 pillows, the little side pillows, and move the bed. You want to make sure you definitely move the bed onto the dinette for traveling, and then grab that pole out before you fold in the front bunk. Definitely don't want to try to push that bunk in with that pole in there, so make sure you take it out before you do the last thing, which is putting in the bunk. All right, and we're just gonna go outside, and you can definitely do this with one person. It's easier with two, but just pulling up the sides. Yep, and putting those all tucked in, and then, yep, you're gonna wanna just go ahead and grab the step ladder for this. Tuck in all the sides, make sure nothing's caught, and then these little rubber items, we just kind of set those there. If you don't get them, that's fine, but it helps to keep the camper more tight. We need to replace the seals on this one. So all right, and then we're gonna go ahead and lock the bunks, so it'll show fold out bed on the keys, and then you can just go ahead and lock those up on both sides just to prevent anything from happening while you're traveling. All right, yep, and then, yep, make sure your propane is off. Go ahead and turn that off before you travel. And then we're going to go ahead and put the rug away. I will say with the propane, if you can keep that on, if you want the fridge on, the fridge only operates on shore power or propane. So if you do have things in the fridge, you're going to want to keep that on while you travel, but I usually keep it off. Alrighty, so now you're going to go ahead and get the jacks up, and all the items are in the back storage cubby. So yep, you're going to go ahead and just get all this up. And we're going to go ahead and get that last jack up. And then when you're hooking up, make sure those chucks are under the wheels. As soon as those are, as soon as you're hooked up, you can go ahead and take the chucks out, and then you should be good to go after all of this. All right, and last but not least, go ahead and put that step in, and then put your crank back away, and you are all set to go. Thanks for watching.